so many things to take away from this as you are leaders of yourself, leaders of your household, leaders of your family, leaders in your organizations, in your businesses, whatever the case is. So many things to learn. Intentional living. The word intentional, to be intentional, to direct our intent in that area. How intentionally are we living? This was a reminder from John Maxwell about intentional living. That story he gave at the end about teaching his kids, or how he teaches his kids and grandkids to consume good things. He said you got to plant the right seeds. You got to plant the right seeds. That's what it means to be intentional. So think about this in your life, not for the children, not for the grandchildren, for your life. How intentional are you at planting the right seeds to get to success? Success in any area, whatever success looks like for you. In your health, in your relationships, in your finances, in your businesses, whatever success looks like to you, are you intentional about planting the right seeds? Do we know that we should be doing something and we actually do those things? When I challenge us to push ourselves out of our comfort zone, to do the thing that scares us, that's planting the right seed to get to the life that we want. Overcoming fears, pushing past what we feel like our limits are, doing the uncomfortable thing forces us to grow. That's the message. It forces you to grow. So are we doing those things? Are we planting the right seeds in order for us to grow? Are we reading the right things? Are we listening to the right things? That's just an example that John Maxwell gave about children, but it's for all of us. I mean, if you gave your child different books to read instead of their iPad, or different things to consume instead of television, they would turn out different. Their thoughts would be different. Same thing for you. If you chose to consume different things instead of what you've been consuming, you will think differently about your life. You will think differently about certain areas of your life. That's being intentional. So how intentional are you to grow? John Maxwell asked, what's your plan for growth? He got asked that question in his 20s. Some of us never get asked that question. But since you're here on these mindset calls, I'll ask you that question. What's your plan for growth? Do you have a plan? You guys know I'm in the financial space. One of the things we say to clients all the time is we say most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. Right? Most people don't plan to fail in their financial life. They don't plan to not have savings. They don't plan to not do well financially. That's not what happens. Most people just fail to put a plan in place to get to retirement, to have savings, to get out of debt. They just don't have a plan. They just, like John Maxwell said, they just let things unfold. So what about in your life? Not just in your finances. What about in your life? Do you have a plan for growth? Or are we just crossing our fingers and hoping that life gets better? John Maxwell just told you everything that's good is uphill. Everything that you want is uphill. And growth is not automatic. Getting older is automatic. You'll get older, but you don't have to get better. You don't have to get wiser. You don't have to be more disciplined. You don't have to grow into anything. Growth is not automatic. Just getting older is. And so do we have a plan for intentionally growing? That becomes the question, y'all. That becomes what we focus on if we want 2026 to be different than 2025. We have to be intentional about the areas that we want to grow. We have to know that growth is not just going to happen automatically. Like, we actually have to apply ourselves. We actually have to plant the right seeds. We actually have to read the right things, get around the right people, listen to the right messages, block out the things that aren't good for us, stop eating the junk food, move our body more, right? Like, we literally have to be intentional every day about the things that we want to make happen. And if we aren't, we have to find out why. Is it because we don't have a vision? It's because we don't really know what we want in our health. We don't really know what we want in our finances. We don't really know what we want out of our relationships. We don't know what we want out of our personal life, out of right our feelings, our emotional homes. We don't really know what we want to experience. That could be one. Do we not have the energy to go after our goals and dreams? Do we not have the energy to focus? Because all this stuff takes energy. It takes energy to focus on the life you want. It takes energy to be intentional. It takes energy to climb a mountain. So do we just not have the energy? If that's so, then what are we doing to get energy? What are we doing to give ourselves more energy? Are we focused more on our health than our finances in this season? Are we focused more on taking in the right things and right, getting in the sunlight and right all the things that bring us energy, taking away some of the things that are taking away our energy, phones, screens, junk food, alcohol, those things take away our energy. If energy is an issue, how intentional are we on it? Maybe we do need the skill sets. Maybe we do need to get around people that help us grow in our discipline and grow in our integrity in certain areas. But the question is, do you have a plan for this stuff? I can throw out a lot of these things for you, but like, do I have a plan for this? Am I committed to this? Am I intentional about this? Or is it just nice to hear? Or is it just it's nice to consume once in a while? I think of this like a hobby, or do I really want to grow? Do I really want my life to change? Do I really want to get to that next version of myself? Do I really want to feel peace and happiness and fulfillment and joy? Do I really want to be financially free? Do I really want to be healthy? Like you have to ask yourself these questions. And then once you've made a decision, you got to get committed to the process. You got to get a plan in place. You got to know that growth is not automatic. You got to plant the right seeds. You got to do the right things. You have like, it's just the way it goes, y'all. In our text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, it says here, the world class is committed to personal development. This is what John Maxwell just told you. You got to be intentional about your personal growth. You got to be intentional about your personal development. You got to be intentional about you becoming the best version of yourself. If you want life to change, if you want to experience something different in this life, you don't want to experience the stress and the worry and the doubt and the fears and the lack and the not having and the scarcity, and right? All the things that we typically face. We don't want to experience that. We want to experience the other side, the joy, the peace, the fulfillment, the happiness, the giving, the gratitude, the right, like those feelings we want to feel more of. If that's the case, we have to commit to our personal development, to our personal growth, to us actively doing what's necessary for us individually to grow. Here's what it says in the text. It says, average performers wouldn't read a personal development book or listen to a personal development recording if you paid them. Only about 5% of the population study personal development. Our exact estimate of the percentage of professional performers in this country. Interesting, isn't it? The masses seem to view personal development as motivational nonsense. Of course, most of these people are struggling to make ends meet. In contrast, many world-class people and those who aspire to world-class levels are believers in the personal development movement. You don't have to convince a champion to want to win. Personal development, by definition, is about discovering the unique talents, abilities, and potentials that lie dormant within us. The great ones are always looking for that one little adjustment, strategy, distinction, or technique that will give them an edge over the competition. And that's exactly what personal development offers. As Bill Gove was famous for saying, all of us already have everything we need inside of us to make our lives work. Personal development is not about self-improvement. It's about self-discovery. It's about rediscovering what we already know. How intentional are you on discovering you? How intentional are you on discovering your talents, your abilities, your skills, your God-given gifts, not the gifts you've chosen to give to your job, but your God-given gifts, your special, like your specialty, like what God gave you. It's different typically than what you give your work a lot of times. That's just something you've developed, but that might not be you, your talent. This is what personal development does. It helps you discover you. It helps you get alone with you so you know where your strengths lie, what you're good at, what you like doing, what your thoughts are, not just what thoughts are being fed to you. And this is what allows you to grow into the man or woman God called you to be. You're not that person yet. You have to grow into that person. Well, if you take this intentional living, like John Maxwell's talking about, this intentionality to say, you know what, this year I'm really going to dive in on my personal development. Like I'm really going to rediscover me in the areas I want to grow, the areas I'm already good, the areas I want to continue to improve, the things that are the small shifts to make in my life so that I can get to the life I don't need a break from, right? Like those little things, that's what I'm going to be intentional about. I'm not going to be intentional about what my family's doing. I'm not going to be intentional about what, my coworkers are doing. I'm not going to be intentional about what my boss's life is or the work that they're giving. I'm intentional about this one part of my life, which is me rediscovering me, get personal development. That's where my energy is flowing. That's what I'm going to be intentional about. Can you make that commitment for 2026? Can you make that commitment to yourself to say, I'm going to commit to personal development? I'm not going to get knocked off the path. I'm going to read all the books I said I'm going to read. I'm going to listen to all the things. I'm going to go to the Tony Robbins event. I'm going to go to whatever seminar, webinar I'm supposed to go to. I'm going to invest a little bit in my actual physical health because that brings energy, right? I'm going to be intentional about this part of my life. That's the message for today. That's what John Maxwell was trying to get to you. That's what I'm trying to get to you. It's time to be intentional about this stuff. Intentional is waking up every day, knowing exactly what you're headed towards, what you are doing. Remembering that growth is not automatic. Just because you made it through the day did not mean that you grew today. Just because you made it to next week does not mean you grew at all from last week to this week. Month after month, year after year. If you are not intentional about the growth, you're not going to grow because it's not automatic. Life is on an uphill slant. You are either growing or you're dying. That is the truth. You're either moving up that hill slowly in whatever areas, in your health, in your finances, in your mental health, in your spiritual health, in your relationships. You are slowly moving up. You are intentionally working every day to grow, or you are slowly moving backwards down that hill. You are getting worse off in your health. You're getting worse off in your relationships, worse off in your financial habits. Like it's up or down. It's not the same. So can we commit this year to going hard at personal development? All the rest of the things in your life will change if you go hard on this one thing. If you go hard on just you getting to know you. The action step for today says make a commitment to attend 2 seminars or workshops in the next 12 months for your own personal growth and development. Set a goal to listen to one of your favorite nonfiction authors or speakers every day when you're in your car. Set another goal to read one positive or inspirational book a month for the next 12 months. Map out a personal development plan of action, and you'll be amazed at the results. Do you have a plan for your growth? Most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. They fail to actually take the time to say, this is my plan for growing. These are the list of books I'm going to read. These are the times I'm going to read. This is how what seminar I'm going to in April. Like just having a plan for how you're going to grow. That's my encouragement to you today. That's what I am pushing you towards today, is you just going after this personal development, personal growth side of things so that your life can take off, so you can get to the next level of your life, build this capacity you need, y'all. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. Nobody tells you. I'll constantly tell you, you got to go out there and be intentional about your living. Be intentional about your life. Be intentional about all the areas you want to grow. This is the work we have to go do now in order to get to that life we don't need a break from, but it's possible. Go out there, do something that scares you today. I'll see you back here on Wednesday, y'all. Take care.